Hi, good morning. It's Steve Sawyer. It's Closet Church. It is April 27th, 2019. And so I want to talk about impatience and patience, both of them. It's so much more important than we realize. So much more important than we... Hi, Roxanne. Patience is so much more important than people realize. There's no amount of anxiety, there's no amount of impatience that changes anything. We can observe the seasons. They're not impatient, not that they have personality to experience impatience, but the cycles of the earth, the rotation around the sun, the orbits of the moon, the tides, the erosion that a river can do when it erodes, and next thing you know, a few million years later, you have a Grand Canyon. All of these things show that there is patience woven into the fabric of the universe. Impatience is a spirit poison. The problem, as always, is that we are self-conscious mammals. Truth be told, I think if you strip away all the storyline, Adam and Eve were probably impatient. If we remember, Jesus of Nazareth always said, we must wait on the Father. What a perfect example of patience, something I don't have. I mean, I've gotten more patient over the years, but it takes time. Impatience. Think of the havoc, the disasters, the problems that have been created by our impatience or the impatience of others. It takes time for things to change. And when things change too fast, if you force things to change before their season is due, just like a fruit on a tree, any amount of worry is not going to make it ripe. I mean, I guess you can pick something green and let it ripen on its own, but it still takes time. Impatience is probably right near the very base and root of so many of our problems. Not only as individuals, but as families, as cities, as nations, as civilizations. It's a true spiritual joy to be around someone who's patient. I'm sure you all have experienced, wow, that's so relaxing to be around somebody that's not all wired crazy because they are impatient. Everything has its season, everything has a time. If you can't get on board the train going the speed that it's going to go, screaming at the conductor doesn't change it. You can be, doesn't matter whether you're in first class or coach, plane's going to go as fast as the plane goes. It takes as long as it takes. When I teach my art students, because they get impatient, they don't understand the process of how to get from idea to completion. I've told them so many times, it just takes as long as it takes. And in the case of art, it's because they don't know what to do when they're stuck. When my art students are impatient, it's because they hit a wall and they don't know what to do. In life, spiritually, when we hit a wall, we don't know whether we can go over it, go around it, whether we're supposed to blow it up, but we just don't want the wall there. Well, it's not the way it works. We all have to be patient, or more patient. We have to learn. It is the whole idea of actually becoming patient is no different than the pattern we see in fruit becoming ripe on a tree. We all have to go through the same thing. If we want to learn to become patient, then you have to hang on, because it takes as long as it takes. But if you want it, it's certainly a gift, because I promise you, it is one of the most important things that we can do for our spiritual growth. I can't think of one thing that it doesn't assist in. The alternative, of course, is if you want to believe in magic. Well, magic sidesteps patients all the time. It's like, well, we're just going to spit here and cut these fingernails and hair clippings here, and we're going to make all this stuff because we're going to bribe some spirit being, and we're going to make it happen now. And patience leads to all kinds of dangerous thoughts and conclusions. Why don't we just relax? I mean, today's all we've got. To live intensely in the present, which is what we're supposed to do, does not mean that we are ignorant of the past or that we ignore the future. But I can't make tomorrow come any faster than it comes. And there's something gracious and kind about allowing the spirit presence of the Creator that does indwell us. I don't even know how God reacts to stress. I don't think God's stressful. I think he watches us go through stress, but our stress is mostly caused by impatience and fear. Today, I just wanted to talk about impatience because it goes down to the root of just about everything. So I just would like to ask all of us, as we go through these different moments in life where we're not in control, to simply do our best as we are, where we are, and try to relax and trust God. Trust that there is a plan that is bigger than we can determine and understand, because we already know that's true, right? Absolutely. We're not in control of virtually anything, but fear makes us want to control more than we can. It's a wonderful day here. It's nice and cold. Breathe in the cold air. There's nothing I can do to change that. There's nothing any of us can do to change anything except the way we react to it. And isn't that the purpose of real prayer? If people are praying because they want God to do things for them that God doesn't do, then it's actually kind of magic with a cross on its back. It's still magic. I think one of the real purposes and values of prayer is to adjust ourselves to be in alignment with the Father's will and to relax a little bit and be ready. Because if we prepare ourselves when the moment comes, then there's a great likelihood that we will make the right decisions, because in that moment in time, when we're not stressed out, we'll see everything differently. I've got so much personal experience with that, as I know you guys do. You just think, oh, good timing. Well, what does good timing mean? Has anybody ever really experienced good timing when they were impatient? I think all of you know how wonderful good timing feels. It's like being in the right place at the right time. I think I would like to believe, especially if you love your fellow men and women and you like to serve other people, that good timing is really an extension of living out your life in proper timing with God's will. Impatience can't fix anything. And you're certainly not going to force God to make things happen when they're not supposed to. Do it now. Doesn't work. We already know it doesn't work, so why do we keep doing it? Got to relax. It's hard to relax. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world. Cindy just sent me a photograph of an Armenian genocide where tens of thousands of Christian girls, and it was a black and white photograph, it's not that long ago, were beaten, stripped naked, and they were crucified and hanging on crosses. Oh my God. What kind of impatience caused that to happen? I'm just telling you, impatience is like an absolute catalyst for disaster. Car wrecks, Oh, I've got a text on this phone because I can't wait while I'm driving. I mean, from the largest things to the smallest things, impatience serves no one. Serves no one. Well, might serve somebody, but it's nobody I want to follow. I don't know if that's a conversation for today or not, but anyway, let's just think about the blessing, the spiritual fragrance of patience. It's much deeper than any of us can possibly imagine, but it goes to the very roots and core of the privilege we have as self-conscious mammals who can be aware of life. We can be aware of the presence of God. We can be aware of loving, unselfish service. I mean, how many times can you be unselfish and remember that service is sacred if you're bound up and caught up in impatience? It just doesn't serve you well. It won't ever serve you well. It's never served me well, and it'll never serve anybody else well. So I think that's all I want to say about it, is ask all of you today, when those moments come up that get tense and you can feel your heart racing and you get stressed, let's try to relax. Let's try to be patient. We'll make better decisions when we make decisions in impatience than in impatience. Trust time. Yes, and absolutely obedience to Jesus, but Jesus was a very, very patient. Very patient. He was extraordinarily patient. So obedience to what he did as well as what he said and manifest. Patience. Wait on the Father. If you have to go off and pray when you get stressed out, good timing. Spiritual good timing is just, can't put a price on it. Let's go forth today and have a good time. And when you get stressed out, just remember it's the roots of impatience. And it will never, ever serve you well. If I'm wrong, prove it to me. Well, my blessing is for all of you, just to ask God to help us all have peace in our hearts and to keep our minds moving forward with gratitude and trust. The more you trust God, the less impatience will have its hooks in you. Trust God. Enjoy the presence of God in your life and trust. I mean, the alternative is you can spend countless thousands of dollars telling a psychiatrist what you're stressed out about. Even Jesus said, be not anxious or afraid. That's from me to you guys. Love you. Bye.